Eating just clean will never get you anywhere because we are already deficient. We're so deficient. Children are born, they're already deficient. Women are having babies, they are deficient. So deficient women will have deficient baby. Trust me, not once I saw an individual that didn't have deficiencies. Everybody is deficient. You cannot expect system to do lots of detox if there's no energy to it and you don't have base nutrients to it. Give them energy so they can clean up. So there is energy for that. Everything is fixable.
We live in an age of abundance, yet most of us are still running on empty. Welcome back to the 5R method. Today we enter the third R, replace, and discover how to refill what the modern world silently drains. Dr. Marina, hello. We're back.
Thank you.
Let's talk about our third step. After we've removed what doesn't belong, why is replace? What does it actually mean in the 5R framework?
Very interesting topic to touch on and very important to understand. Even in order to clean up, we need energy. You cannot clean up your house if you don't have the energy for it. Correct? So your detoxification needs energy. So the way we have 5R method set up, so we replace the same time as we clean up. You cannot expect system to do lots of detox if there's no energy to it and you don't have the base nutrients to it. So we test patients, we see what they're deficient in, and we replace it in a way that they can utilize it for cellular function plus detoxification. As soon as they start cleaning up, and this is when you see they feel better, their skin is changing, they're sleeping better. Even we didn't do much yet, we just started, but we have to do these two steps together. You cannot detox without nutrition. You have to give nutrition, give them energy so they can clean up. So there is energy for that. This is an important step because a lot of people come forward and they say, you know what, I know I have very old Epstein-Barr virus. I want to get rid of it. Give me something. Or I have chronic candida. Can I go in very drastic candida regimen? Yeah, it's a great idea. Both of those are very smart and actually resilient. So in order for us to clean that, we have to prep the body, give the nutrition, give the energy, make sure you're opening your doors and your windows, your lymphatic system is appropriate, your digestive tract is working, and only then you can clean it up. Even your kidneys are working properly and liver starts working properly. So every organ starts working better to detoxify in detoxification when they have sources, energy, nutrition. That's why I take so much time explaining people what needs to happen so they understand. If somebody comes and they make demands, because people, they read a lot and they come and they ask, I want to do this now. This now is not going to happen. You want to do it smart and you actually want to succeed. We need to do it smart. You need to deposit nutrients at the same time as stimulating your body defense system to do that job. So it works just great.
Okay, so we replace what's bad and start turning it into good so the body can actually use it. Why is replacement that turning point between detox and true healing? How does it bridge the gap?
If you do not give the fuel for the cells to function, let's say this, you gave an individual something to detoxify the system. It could be whatever, it could be maybe lots of glutathione at the same time, maybe lots of NAD at the same time. So these are, we say they are great and they have a place in detoxification and ATP energy production, but it's never a first step. You have to always prep and guide your cells for certain function. It's very, very specific. I explain to my patients a lot in the sense of, housekeeping, house cleaning, how do we keep the house clean and working? So we always do specific steps. Like I'm sure when you're doing housekeeping, when you're cleaning your house, you do not vacuum before you dust everything else. You dust because everything falls on the floor and then you vacuum and clean, right? It's certain steps. You're laughing, but it's certain steps. So I take my time and explain to people Replacement is so important. You also cannot just do something to clean something. For example, in IV services, some individuals like to use something very harsh detoxifier for a liver without replacing. We should never forget that when we are cleaning out, a lot of things bind together. So we replace a lot of minerals. We're losing bad with good. You have to replace. For heavy metal detoxification through IV, for example, there is a compound that called EDTA sodium EDTA. So when we use this to clean heavy metals out of the system, we know it binds to lots of calcium, magnesium. So we have to replace it. If you leave patients without it, they magnesium and sodium deficient. They have very specific symptoms. They have, oh, my stomach hurts, I'm cramping. So that's very, very important to understand. So understanding of this process should be very deep. It should not be very superficial. You can do these steps appropriately.
What are some of the deficiencies that you see that are most common once the body is cleared? Is it kind of like, oh, yep, this one?
Well, most of the people, when they come, they have very interesting, like it's almost all people are deficient in magnesium. A lot of people are deficient with vitamin D. A lot of people deficient with ascorbic acid, vitamin C. People are deficient in sodium salts, even like a lot of deficiencies. When patients complaining that, I'm gaining weight and, you check their pulse and pulse is slow, I already know they're selenium deficient and iodine deficient because their thyroid doesn't work. You see, it's a lots of deficiencies. But again, when we want to replace specifically, understanding that by detoxifying and replacing the same time, you're going to lose a lot more. So we need to have the space and give a little extra to overcome for the deficit.
Okay. And why is it not just eating clean and taking a multivitamin? And even if we're eating healthy, how are we still deficient in all of these things? How does that work?
So if we would have talked about it 100 years ago, it would have been place for this, a conversation would be valid. Right now, eating just clean will never get you anywhere because we are already deficient. We're so deficient. Children are born, they're already deficient. Women are having babies, they are deficient. So deficient woman will have deficient baby, because it's all passed on. So this deficient baby, they're already deficient, and putting this child on clean diet. Yes, supposedly the diet is clean, but what about nutrition? Nutrition should be delivered in a way this individual can utilize it. If it's a powder form. It's IV injectable, if usable, it's the best that I like because nothing goes to waste. So let's not forget that soil that we're using, it's already so overused and so deficient. It doesn't have a natural substances to pass on to fruits and vegetables. A lot of fruits and vegetables we have now, they don't even taste or smell like fruits and vegetables. Right? I think very first podcast when we had, and I spoke about what we see now in research that people talking about orange some time ago and orange now, tomato a few years ago and tomato now. It's like, yes, orange is sweeter, has more sugar, but it's so much less nutrition. So we're getting sugar, so we learn how to grow this fruit where it tastes better, but it doesn't deliver all that much. Sugar, really, do we need that much sugar? But we do need so much more nutrition. So just eating clean won't do it anymore. We need to do so much more.
So what I'm hearing you say is even when you think you're doing the right thing, even when you think you're eating the right fruits and vegetables and things that are going to provide you the nutrition, the food isn't just of the same caliber than it used to be because of how it's produced. So you could think you're doing the right thing, but the problem is not in the choices so much. It's actually in the product.
Absolutely. Yes. And also we should not forget, if we want to just replace, we should never forget about physiological state of the system. Let's say you ask something about the vitamins, multivitamin, and this multivitamin is given in the tablet form or a capsule form, or maybe the best would be in this scenario, chewable form. But what if this individual has chronic digestive issues? So mucosal membrane is already affected, and obviously absorption wouldn't be the best because it won't absorb much. All you're going to end up with just expensive urine, everything in and most everything out. People constantly talk about it. Yes, taking supplementation orally, you waste a lot. Number one, it's important what supplementation you take and who guides you through this. You need a specialist that understands your physiology and what's recommended to you. We cannot bombard systems, 20 different supplements. There's a limit how much you can give so body can utilize. We do not want to overwhelm, because by overwhelming, you are causing more toxicity. So we need to do it strategically. We should do it carefully, and we should do it smart, so not much goes to waste.
And that's why it's so important to actually have someone monitoring this and, telling you what you should be doing. Because to your point, if you're just spending all this money on these supplements and you're not doing it right, you could almost do more harm than good.
Yes. And this is what we see. Patients come and they report that they're dealing with whichever, issue they're having for some time, and they listen to their friends, and friends give recommendations. I saw this on TikTok shop, or I heard this from somebody else and it works great, la, 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 la. I get it, but we're also different. Working for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And lots of times when people try different things, they actually end up more inflamed, more confused, more deficiencies, more toxicity at the end, because you're an individual. That's why I always talk about this is individualized medicine. It's personal medicine. You cannot really have one formula and apply it to everybody. And this is very important. Everybody is an individual. We are different people with our physiological differences. I just gave you an example of mucosal membrane over oral cavity or and digestive tract. If somebody has already irritable bowel, you can give them something that's going to trigger their system, and inflammation is more. And then what did you do for them? It should be targeted to their need, to their physiology.
What I'm hearing you say is that after we've talked on these first few episodes, most people do, if you're going to a functional medicine doctor, do have an internal gut digestion issue. That is more often than not one of the problems that you're seeing. So trying to solve this yourself, it seems like you're up to bat against the best pitcher in the league, and you're still a JV kind of player. This is really serious.
Yes, this is big. So digestive tract and digestive system itself, it's the biggest system in a body that's responsible for almost everything and anything. I will explain to you how that works, because whatever hormones that we're working on in our system, we release, that's digestive tract, it's gut and liver that converts it to active form. So that's what converts this nutrient or this hormone into active form. So if our digestive system is inflamed, so this function is not done. For people with primary hypothyroidism, we make two main hormones in thyroid glands, two hormones, T4 and T3. T4 we have an abundance, T3 we have very little. In order to feel energetic in the morning and have this energy, you have to have abundance T3, meaning this T4 has to go through your gut, has to go through your liver and convert to T3, to active form. Most people are not doing it, not making it, because they are nutritionally deficient. They're deficient in lots of vitamins and minerals to do this job, to conversion. And gut is not working. Your gut is inflamed, you're not going to convert. Plus primary insufficiency and deficiency of thyroid itself. Nutrients such as selenium. You don't have enough selenium, you don't have enough iron, you're already going to be deficient. And I'm just talking about one gland. Only thyroid gland. The endocrine system is huge. So entire body is dependent on function of digestive tract. All absorption, everything in digestive tract. We can have a great supplement, but if somebody has inflammation in their stomach, very silent gastritis or inflammation of the bowel, you can give them anything. They will not convert this to an active ingredient. And so it just wasted everything. There is no absorption, no conversion, no absorption.
When someone eventually heals this, we talked about the body is incredible and we can heal it. We can get back to, homeostasis within the body. Do you see that it's obviously not something that will be consistent forever if you undergo the same kind of stress, the same kind of emotional disruption, perhaps, which is a lot of where this starts. But do you see that those people who have dealt with it once, it's easier for them to slip back into it after they've corrected it? Or do they really need another huge inciting incident or compromised way of life for it to go back to that? Like, are they more susceptible to it rearing its head again? or once you heal it, does that make sense?
It makes sense. So this is how it works. One system is off balance. Once you balance them and you teach this individual how to keep it balanced, that's what we do, because we have Patient Academy and we have a lot of information, and it's there for patients to download, utilize, learn it, keep it, do whatever. It's for you. They are able to maintain the good state of well-being. Life is life. It happens to everybody. Nobody lives in a sterile environment. People get sometimes, gastric issues. They, get bacteria, they get viruses. It's normal, but how fast you recover, that's what makes a difference. Or just don't respond to that, invader, whatever it is at all. That makes the difference. So in my practice, what I see is very interesting. When I have a woman coming with issue of infertility, or she's not able to conceive, we do this big job one time. We regulate, we put everything together, regulate the hormones and all. And after that, they have babies back to back without doing this again. We did it one time, but we do lots of teaching how to maintain these beautiful results. The same thing for adults, those who don't want to, not everybody wants to have a baby, but just to be well, stay as healthy as possible so they can feel their best. It's all attainable and it is sustainable. You don't need to do all this much afterwards. That's why we call it maintenance. For 6 months, it's a lot of work. After that, we maintain as much as possible. If something comes in their way, they already know what to do. Plus, we support them through sending nutraceuticals that will correct this issue very quick so they can recover and not to linger. So this COVID, we had a lots of interesting patients that coming with long haul COVID. So long haul COVID is a COVID that the symptoms of it were not horrific. These people didn't die. They just maybe had fever for a day or two. They were not feeling great for 2 to 3 days. And after that, whole thing went away. But the problem was remained. Yes, because it was not very loud, but it still caused dysregulation in the system. So if you don't correct that, it took them months to get back. And again, you had to make corrections. And what we saw, the thyroid doesn't work, adrenals were out, they all inflamed. These people, their sleep was broken. That was interesting. They were not able to sleep. And in order to recover, you need to sleep. So that's what we start with. Like, let's teach you sleep. Let's regulate your thyroid. It feels and looks a lot like Lyme's disease patients. But here, patients having this from Lyme's, and these people are having from long haul COVID. This was very interestingly. But again, one system is off balance. You can balance it off, and they remain well. Of course, life is life, and things could happen, but we can regulate them very quick back because they're, firstly, no longer as toxic, and they're no longer as depleted as they were before. It's an ongoing process. We support them. It's interesting.
And I'm sure we're going to talk about that more in our coming episodes, but just I wanted to get an idea, maybe a little prematurely, of, these are a lot of steps and a lot of things we have to do, but kind of that rainbow at the end of the long journey, and how that can stay for someone if they choose to kind of, buy into that and take the necessary steps. But it's great to hear that you guys are supporting them and giving them the resources and the help, not just in and out for the duration, as long as they're your patient. I think that's wonderful. And what are some of the top nutrients and hormones that you see depleted in both men and women? What are people walking around with every day that they have no idea that they should be tuned into?
Almost everything and anything. Honestly, if you test them, you will find that everything is depleted, more or less. Okay. So now not even once I saw male with proper testosterone levels, not one. If they're not on testosterone replacement therapy and you test them, it's very low. It's very sad, very, very low. Vitamin D, all the same. As I told you before, magnesium, most people are deficient. Zinc, most of people are deficient. B vitamins, B12, B6, B4, B1, all of these are deficient. And we know we need all of these B vitamins for proper function of nervous system. And everybody now walking either anxious or depressed. So people are just deficient, altogether just deficient. Kids come, if I do my best not to take children, but if they are 17 and a half years old, we test them, they're as deficient. That's what I'm saying. We don't have a base anymore where people are really nutritionally dense. Everybody's deficient. Sad. but that's a reality. Thyroid hormones for most women are deficient, adrenal, fatigued for adults throughout deficient because you wear out. Life is not simple. It's quite challenging. People work a lot. People don't do enough for themselves. And of course, that shows itself in the physiology. And since we wear ourselves out, we most of the time in fight or flight response, your resources burn out faster. We just burn out.
We mentioned about how food is not giving us the same kind of nutritional impact that it once did. And I know we've talked about this before, but in the context of this biochemical depletion, talk to us a little bit about how emotional burnout and trauma, in addition to the stress, in addition to not getting the same nutrients from the food, can also add to that depletion that everyone is experiencing.
Yes, sure. So now we have screens, we have phones, and everybody's on the phone and everybody's on the screen. Not many people have sleep hygiene, which is important because that's how we recover and that's how we repair. And once we have emotional trigger that actually shows itself in physiological trigger, for example, I give my patient this example. You could be walking down the street and eating a sandwich that has egg in it and avocado. And then you could be, God forbid, but hit by a car, right? So here, this is how mine works. You eating egg, avocado, and gluten bread, 3 items. Now you have a car hit you. Now you emotionally triggered stress response that will be tied to gluten, avocado, and egg. And these people then will have very specific reactions to all of these items that nobody can understand.
Wow.
You see, I can tell you this loop, this emotional trigger latches on something else. The way your brain records it and then plays different music. Like the way your body will work after this effect will change forever until you learn to reloop it again to positive. Because now your body learn association, egg, gluten, avocado, negative association. How does body show this negative association? As a lot of times sensitivity responses. When people come and they say, I'm very sensitive to foods, what does it mean? Something happened where their system understood it was not safe. It was stressful, and now it has new interpretation of that. But we don't understand what that is. So we start continuously eating these things, and then we see the same item causes stomachache, bloat, because now in cellular level, things change. So it's redoable. We can reset the system and we can reteach the system that's not an invader, and system starts working well again. Teaching the body rest. It's very important. You have to rest. We have to be in proper neurological state to recover. And that's why, children now go to sleep with their phones, and we teach the parents, take the phone away from them so they don't scroll all night long. So what happens with the blue light, this blue light that radiates, it actually overstimulates the brain through the eyes. And then these children cannot fall asleep. And then they have very funny behavior during the day. You see, my mom, she had no phone when she was my age. Now we are living different life where we have all of that around us. So we need to learn what can we do to still maintain good life and keep mind and body working. And that's what we teach how to. Yes, we all have phones. I have phone, you have phone. We all work. But how do we do this so we still remain well and we can function and enjoy life and have a good quality of life as well?
How are you determining what exactly needs to be replaced for each patient?
So we test them. Firstly, symptoms already say a lot. That's why I ask very specific questions and I explain to my patients. I was like, looking at this and understanding your story, this is what it means to me. We're still going to do blood work. Like we see all of this has come. It's everybody's deficient. Trust me. Not once I saw an individual that didn't have deficiencies. Everybody is deficient. Okay. So once we understand what they're deficient in, then the program is created and we understand what works. If digestive system is really not in a place that we start, we do lots of IV therapies to replace avoiding digestive tract using peptide therapies in different form. We use them injectable and capsules to re-enable the mucosal integrity of digestive tract. So their guts start working again. So they're not so triggered and not so leaky. So giving them an opportunity to heal a different way. not through the mouth, through IV therapy, through peptides. And when we understand their digestive tract starts working more or less better, and they're not so inflamed and they can absorb oral nutritional supplementation. I use a lots of powders because capsules, tablets, not really. A lots of powders. It's already easier. They mix it with water, they drink it at specific order, when to start. It should be on empty stomach. Some things too. Combine, some things absolutely not combine because people react funny. So we teach all of that to our patients. So the results are much better and much faster.
This is all so interesting. I love it. Yes. Peptides, such a hot button word right now. Seems like everybody's talking about peptides. They're having a moment. How do the peptides and the hormones fit into this stage without, I don't know, over medicalizing it or making the wellness too complicated? How do we keep it simple, stupid a little bit, but still get what we need to do with all of these fancy things that we have access to now?
The medicine is absolutely beautiful, and what we have is actually a tool. So peptides are not really shortcut. It's a tool to get to your goal in a different way. So peptides are all different ones. I use whole bunch. I use SS31, I use MOTS-C, I use KPV, the BPC 157, thymosin alpha, the combinations. I use many different ones. Depends who needs what. So how to not overwhelm the system. That's why we create a specific schedule, how we do this. Lots of places, they combine peptides and use 3 to 4 different peptides at a time. I do my best maybe not to do this, at least not to do this at the same day. I start with something basic in the beginning. So if patient is really inflamed, I either use BPC 157, I use KPV, if immune system is affected, because we need to regulate. So KPV, thymosin alpha, is great to regulate immune system. Most of patients, it's not their immune system is underactive. For most of them, it's actual overactive. So if patients with cancer, they're overactive, not underactive. Hashimoto's thyroiditis, it's usually overactive. It's not underactive. Lupus, it's overactive. It affects the skin, the joints, and all of that. When you know the immune system is affecting the organ and the function of the organ is to fall apart, it's overactive immune response. So how do we regulate it? With peptides, we do it with peptides, we do it with food. We start with changing their food to something that doesn't cause inflammation so their immune system can breathe finally and start regulating. Because when you constantly eating something that causes inflammation and constantly, what do you expect? More inflammation, more immune dysregulation. So we need to reduce inflammation. Inflammation, almost everything, where it starts most of the time in digestive tract. If person doesn't have chronic virus or bacteria, it's always gut. But who doesn't have chronic virus or bacteria, right? So Epstein-Barr virus, it's one of them. EBV, HSV1, varicella zoster 1, varicella zoster 2. Like if you had blister on your lip, it's HSV1. So genital is genital. So these things live in a system for very long period of time. They're dormant and they're active. They're dormant and they're active. So that's how these things wear the system out. System gets tired. So we need to support. Nutrition, cleaning up, support. The same thing you do in your house. In order for your house to be nice, clean, and homey, you have to do so much, no?
Yes.
See? The same thing for your body. You have to keep it nice and clean and make sure there's nutrition is there. And, it's comfortable for you at night. It's proper temperature so you can sleep, so you can recover. So I also use SS31. Mitochondrial peptide. It's great peptide. MOTS-C, peptide for cellular energy and insulin resistance to make cells more sensitive to insulin you release. I'm not using GLP-1s, people using GLP-1s. I find a way how to do this without using the peptide for weight loss. And again, program is for longevity, for wellness. People lose weight just because we're doing everything else. So it's very specific way of doing things. And yes, it's a lot of supplementation, but again, we don't give them 20 supplements. We don't, because that's overwhelming the system. And peptides used in conjunction with nutrition and IV therapy, and people heal. It's a very interesting process.
You just mentioned so many different names of peptides and things that we could be integrating and healing our system. When people think that they can do it on their own, what are some of the common mistakes that people make when they try to do their own research or go by whatever Reel or TikTok is saying right now, how do they mess up?
Firstly, in order to heal, you need a proper individual to help you do that. Somebody who understands your physiology, who understands what needs to be done, and a service, like it's a specific sequence. How do we want to do this? What we see right now, everybody wants GLP-1s, everybody wants to lose weight. And I explain to them all the time, weight loss is not the problem. You need to understand why you're gaining that weight. And most of the time, it's not because you're eating too much. Most people under eating, they don't have nutrition. So your body is storing, because firstly, your body doesn't understand it's going to be tomorrow or not, because there's no nutrition. So ideally it would be, let's give you all nutrition your body needs, and you're going to start dropping weight. It's the other way around. People don't understand this. But people now listen and say, oh, a new drug, it's also for weight loss. Oh, and now you see all these other things that come up with people that been on these peptides for a period of time. It's extreme weight loss, it's a muscle loss, it's a bone loss, and that's, they lose their eyesight. And people sign consent for that, like they signing. Please get self-educated. If you want to be on path of wellness and healing, employ a person who understands how this is done properly, so you don't have adverse effects, so you don't have problems, so you don't pay for your mistakes with your health, because it's your health. It's you.
You have one body. That's it.
It's very important. People sometimes they don't understand, so I spend lots of time educating. It's so important to know.
Absolutely. You've talked about so many patients whose lives you've changed through the treatment that you give, but is there someone that sticks out, perhaps whose energy or fertility shifted once the right replacements were made, perhaps maybe not overnight, but very quickly, that stands out to you?
Most of them, if they follow, it's evident. It's right there. So I had a patient very much in the beginning. How many years ago? When I moved to Florida, it was a couple that came to me from New York, and they had an interesting issue. So they were not in mid-30s. I think they were in early 30s, both of them. And this lovely couple, they're trying to conceive, and it won't happen. So she would get pregnant and she would miscarry, and it would be back to back and continuously. So they were coming for IV services. They started some peptides, nutritional supplementation. So we did all the works. They were so eager that they wanted to do IVF. And I constantly was telling them, like, listen, if that's what you want, it's not the problem. But when your body decides it's the right time, it's just going to do it. They pregnant first time, had beautiful, healthy baby boy. Now they're pregnant with a baby girl, second child, and second time I didn't have to do anything. And I have so many of these. You do it one time, correct how system works. I share the knowledge. My patients know how I do this. I teach them, we educate them. It's so important sharing all of this so they can use it. And it's great.
That's so inspiring. Besides fertility, what changes do your patients notice when their symptoms are properly fueled again?
So everybody feels the same thing. Firstly, people start feeling better. That's what you want. Some people say, you know what, I want to do my blood work 2 months from the beginning. Why? Your body will tell you. Why do you need blood work every 2 months? You don't really need to. Firstly, we need time to show in blood work. It doesn't show right away. It shows in symptoms. It shows in your skin. It shows in your nails and your hair. Nails and hair usually the last to show, but it shows in your mood. Like if you wake up in the morning and you're in better mood and you have energy to hop off the bed without laying in it for another 45 minutes because you're tired and exhausted, that's how you're going to know it. Things are changing. I've seen personalities change. And who reports? The spouse, because they are to see a real person all the time. Somebody is tired and grumpy all the time and constantly complaining all of a sudden. Wow, I got my husband back. He's now how he used to be before. This is who I fell in love with. We're having so much fun together now. We can go and play pickleball. We're playing tennis. We're spending time with our family, with our children. That's what gives it, That's a change. I now have very young grandmother. She's 68 years old. So they were expecting twins in their family. Her daughter was pregnant with twins. And they're also excited. And she's like, oh my God, I do not know what am I going to do now. These twins are coming and I'm all good and great and wonderful. And I want to make sure that I stay in shape so I can help my daughter. So great, she joined the program. We started everything. And in the beginning it was, I kind of tired. Most of the time I kind of tired. And then throughout times, no more complaints. And she's taking care of twins. And then another family member who was much younger joined the same crew with them, taking care of the babies. And this woman, I believe, was 54, 56, 6 years old. And now my patient is, oh, she needs to take a nap twice a day. And I don't do any of this and I have energy. You see, taking care of twins, it's a lot of work. She's doing it.
That's incredible. The body can do it on its own. It just needs to be operating at, an A level versus a C minus.
And you know what? With the right tools, right methods, and right delivery, we can do all of that. We can optimize, and we do it all the time.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Marina. Always enlightening, always inspiring, always informative every single week. And just like she explained, you cannot heal if your body is running on empty. We can't drive the car if the tank is empty. We got to have the right gas and nutrition and, just fuel inside to make sure that we can even operate how we're designed to operate. If today's episode helped you see where you might be depleted, please take the next step and schedule your reveal consultation at National Wellness Group in Boca Raton or visit nationalwellnessgroup.com. Next time, we'll move into the fourth R, restore, and learn how the body rebuilds once it's finally refueled. Thanks, Dr. Marita. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.